1.5 million Armenians were slaughtered in 1915. Hundreds of thousands of Assyrians and Greeks were also killed. But you've probably never seen a Hollywood film about it. Why has one of the 20th century's worst genocides been left out of global memory? Today we uncover the forgotten genocides of 1915. What happened? Why does it still matter? And why is Hollywood silent? During World War I, the Ottoman Empire turned on its Christian minorities. On April 24, 1915, Armenian intellectuals were arrested in Constantinople, the start of a systematic extermination campaign. The regime, led by the Young Turks, accused Armenians of being enemies within. They weren't just targeting Armenians. Assyrian and Greek Christians were next. Villages were emptied, men executed, women and children forced on death marches through the Syrian desert. No food, no water, no return. Assyrian Christians call it Sipho, the year of the sword. Greek communities face similar terror: deportations, massacres, cultural erasure. This wasn't random violence. It was organized, planned, executed with precision. How do you erase entire communities? Men were rounded up and shot. Villages were surrounded and burned. Families forced to walk for weeks in the heat, without supplies. Many never made it. Some survivors ended up in open-air desert camps like Derzor. Starvation finished what bullets started. There were drownings too. Women and children loaded onto boats and sunk in the Black Sea. Rape, forced conversions, and abductions were common. An American diplomat wrote, "I saw thousands of innocent women and children placed on boats which were then capsized." This was genocide in every sense of the word. Let's look at the scale. Armenians, approximately 1.5 million killed. Assyrians, 250,000 to 500,000. Greeks, around 350,000. Over 2 million lives were lost. Those who survived lost everything: homes, families, communities, history. Entire cultures uprooted. Cities like Smyrna burned. Churches, schools, and ancient towns gone. For survivors, the trauma didn't end in 1915. It lasted generations. Did the world care? Yes and no. The Allies, Britain, France, and Russia, called the killings crimes against humanity. The phrase was used for the first time in history. Newspapers reported the horrors. U.S. Ambassador Morgenthau begged the Ottomans to stop, but nothing happened. The world was too focused on the war, and after it ended, the perpetrators fled. Most were never punished. Ordinary citizens donated to save refugees. Organizations like Near East Relief helped orphans and widows. But global justice, it never came. By the time the Republic of Turkey was born in 1923, most of the Christian population of the Ottoman Empire was gone. Here's where the silence gets louder. Unlike Germany's recognition of the Holocaust, Turkey has denied these genocides for over a century. They claim the deaths were a tragic consequence of war, not intentional extermination. This denial affected everything. It was illegal to even call it genocide in Turkey. Countries avoided recognizing it to avoid political fallout. Even U.S. recognition didn't come until 2021. The result? Textbooks skipped it, Hollywood ignored it, and millions of descendants watched their history get erased. A genocide scholar once said, "Denial is the final stage of genocide." That's what's still happening. You've seen hundreds of World War II movies, but where are the films about 1915? It's not because the stories aren't powerful. It's because they're controversial. In 1934, MGM planned to make a movie about the Armenian resistance. Turkey protested. The studio dropped the project. That fear stuck around. Studios avoided the topic for decades. It was politically risky. Turkey was a U.S. ally during the Cold War. No one wanted to stir up conflict. The first major film, The Promise, only came out in 2017. It was financed by an Armenian philanthropist. Hollywood didn't back it. Even then, it faced online attacks from genocide deniers trying to tank its ratings. Hollywood didn't just forget, it stayed silent. You might ask, why dig up old tragedies? Because they're not just history. Denying genocide increases the risk of it happening again. If the world forgets, the lesson is lost, and millions of descendants carry invisible scars. The trauma of having their truth erased. We can't let that happen. Recognition isn't just symbolic, it's a step toward justice, and it keeps the memory of those who perished alive. Now that you know, what will you do? Share this video. Comment with your thoughts. Subscribe for more stories that history forgot. Let's make sure silence doesn't win, because remembering is resistance,